What up, guys? MBR. I'm going to bring you a vlog today to do about Thailand. I recently got asked by one of you bosses, Comrade Dragon, if I could do something to do with my experience in Thailand if I haven't done so. I've uploaded a few videos in the past, this year when I was out there for New Year, did a few videos also. One was on the back of a motorbike, some of you guys might see now. That was quite good fun. It was pretty noisy. The driver was pretty crazy, swerving in and out of the traffic. He asked if I could touch on some of my experiences in Thailand. He's quite interested in that. And I was looking at my passport the other day, and I've actually spent the last. I went out in 2012 was the first time I went out. Summer 2012. It's probably about a month or two from now. I've been out for a year. I've actually been over there longer than a year in total. So I spent about 13, 14 months actually out in Thailand the last 4 years, which is a crazy amount of time when you really come to think about it. And it's a great place to spend your time. So with all the amount of times I've been over there and the amount of time I've stayed there, because I lived out there for quite a few months, I wanted more to touch on my first experience when I went out to Thailand. When I went out there the first time, it was all brand new to me, didn't know what to expect, and it was just a complete and utter mindfuck, but in a good way, in a good way. So the first time I went out with a bunch of buddies. I think there was about 8 or 9 of us. I only had one was my best pal. We used to play games and league and all that stuff. But what else would you do with your best pal? And the other lads I sort of knew, but only recently sort of met them, and they were all going to Thailand, and I was a bit unnervy about it because I didn't really know them. You're going out for 30 days to a whole different world out there. It's not going around to somewhere like Spain or something. I wouldn't really want to go there for 30 days. But, you get what I'm saying. So I went out there and I was like, yeah, we're going to go for it. And I was the best time in my life. And still to now, it was the best time I've ever been out to Thailand. It's the best thing I've ever done. Going out there and meeting these new friends and meeting new people out there. And if it's something you bosses are thinking about doing is, traveling the world, or going to Thailand, I would highly recommend it. And if you have any questions, which I don't cover, we'll answer in the comment section below. So we went out there, we booked the flights and everything. We were going with Air India. I think it was around about £600-700 for flights, which looking back at it now, I think we might have got ripped off a little bit because we could have probably got a direct flight for that, but we were newbies and it was sort of booking it. But anyway, we went out there, we had to stop off in India for like 3-4 hours. It was about a 19-hour flight. And we were on there on the second way. After we got into India, we were there for like 3 hours, and then we got on the plane. I think it was like 4 hours to Thailand at that point. So we got on the whiskies, and I drank some of this awful goddamn whiskey. It was horrible. So I was pretty pissed at this point. When we actually landed at Bangkok, and we're going through all the terminal checking in. And there's a massive queue, which still to this day the queue's freaking massive. Where you got to go through immigration. You can, if you're going there for under 30 days, you don't need to get like a visa. You get a 30-day free visa, but if you're overstaying 30 days, it's important that you do get a visa. So that's something you might want to look into. But for the English, and I think it's for anyone going in there, you don't need a visa unless you're staying for under 30 days. But if you do overstay, they will fine you like 500 baht, which is £10 a day, which did actually happen to me the next time I went. But anyway, so we got there, and then we were going. We get all our bags and everything, which was a little bit long, but as usual at airports. And the first time it really hit me because I really didn't know what to expect about Thailand or Asia. I sort of heard stories and I thought it was quite a sort of a third world country. That's what always, from what you hear on TV and what I saw personally, I didn't really do any research into it. That's what I imagined. And the airport was amazing. It was one of the best airports I've ever actually been in. But the real time it hit me that we were coming to Asia, I think it was about 7-8 o'clock at night. We landed in Bangkok and we come out the airport, and humidity, I can't explain. England's such a cold place, and even when it's warm, it's pretty cold compared to Thailand. Humidity, literally, it's all aircon inside the actual airport, and as soon as you step out of those doors, Jesus Christ, the air hits you, and it's like something else. It's like something else, and then everyone's rushing over you. I think we went to actually looking at it now. We went to the wrong part of the airport to come out. We should have went to like the taxi zone. Instead, we went upstairs where obviously there was taxis waiting there, but they're the ones that are going to charge you more money. This guy obviously saw us coming, and they charged us about £20 for about 8 of us, which wasn't too bad for what it was, but it was quite expensive compared to what we could have done. We'd already booked our hotel online. I think we were booked a hotel for 3 nights. I thought we'd be smart, instead of getting to Bangkok and not having a clue where we're going. We had one friend living out there as well, but not where we're going. So we booked a hotel, and it turned out the hotel was pretty freaking far away from everything. It was like about an hour or so out in the suburbs, still in like Bangkok, but it's a big old place. So it was quite far out from like the main sort of zone where we wanted to be. Anyway, so we get to this hotel and. We booked online, and it was a really nice hotel. It was like 20 odd pound a night or something. And we were reading these comments when we were booking them, and it didn't really click. And when we got there's all these women sat on the sofa, all these Thai girls, and it really didn't. It turned out after we did a bit of research that day, and it sort of clicked that it was a brothel. It turned out the place we booked was a brothel, so you could actually take one of these girls, or you'd have to pay for them, but you could actually take one back to your room and do whatever you would do with them. So there was quite a few old geezers. Once we saw like the old blokes on their own, it sort of clicked. So inevitably, not on purpose at all, we ended up actually booking a brothel out, which was something a bit different. But anyway, so that was that. That was the first story of the tale, and we then decided to go out into the main. Not necessarily the main heart of Bangkok, it depends where you want to look at it. The main touristy zone, there's a road called Koh San Road, and it's where all your tourists vlog. So if you were going to Bangkok, which is the capital of Thailand, you'd most likely go to Koh San Road. It's where all the backpackers go, every traveller goes there. There's a lot of hotels around there, and some cheap ones and some more expensive ones. It's sort of what I call rip-off road. If you're going to get ripped off, you probably get ripped off anywhere in Thailand because you're a Farang, which is a foreigner. The white man, they're always going to try and rip you off, and that's how it is out there. Which you just got to have your wits about you, not necessarily in a bad way, but it's something they're always going to try and overcharge you compared to what you would pay against a Thai, but. That's how it is, really. Anyway, so we went to Koh San Road, and it was about probably almost midnight at this point, and it was crazy going there. Seeing the whole. It was just so different, like compared to being in England. It's so freaking boring. We went there, and you've got vendors. There's all these like vendors selling food, all these like Thai street food, noodles cooking on. So this was at midnight, and literally, it is the place that doesn't sleep. I've never seen anything like it. If you go there during the day, it's still busy, but at night time it just comes alive. You've got people selling beer on the side of the road. There's also music, people doing, there's some guy DJing, again a lot of food vendors, even clothes, there's people selling clothes, merchandise, phones, literally I've never seen anything like it. and then there's a few sort of clubs and bars that you can sort of go into, and we went into one club, and we were in there quite a while, and anyway we come back out, and we sort of split up, and at this point we have no phones, we have phones but we've got no SIM cards, we've got no Thai SIM cards, first night in Bangkok, have no clue. Only one person had the address for the hotel, and we come out of the hotel, the bar, or club we were in, and it's like 2-3 in the morning. We see him driving off in a freaking tuk-tuk, which are a small like car, it's like a motorbike, but with a like a seat on the back, 2, 3, or you could fit about 4. I think we've had about 6 of us at one time in one, and he was driving off with this Thai fruit pig. Going back to the hotel, but he was the only one who had the freaking address of the hotel, and we're there like, whoa, and he's just driving off waving at us. Obviously, I don't know if he knew. So and a couple of them had already got back to the hotel. So I think there was 4 of us, and that was stranded in the middle of Koh San Road, not having a clue where a hotel is. And as I mentioned it before, the hotel is a good hour away from where we are, and we haven't got a clue. The only thing we knew was Big C, which now when I look back at it, since being a Thai all this time, the amount of big C's in Bangkok, it's something else. And somehow, so anyway, we were driving around, and it's now about 4 in the morning at this point. We're still driving around in this taxi, and luckily, like I said, the taxis are pretty freaking cheap anyway. And we recognise something, and we get him to drop us off. And he drops us off, and next thing we're walking through this field, and there's a lot of wild dogs in Thailand. So we had about 20 dogs chasing us. It's now like 4 or 5 in the morning. These 20, like a big wild pack of dogs. We sprinting shit at us. So we sprinting up, got to this bridge, and I don't know how, because we didn't actually know the hotel was here. It was only because we thought we recognised something, and this taxi drove us off. So we're now literally stranded with no taxi whatsoever, like in the middle of nowhere, and we were on top of this bridge, and we had to jump off the bridge. And I'm quite a big chap. I was a big chap, so I was like, I can't jump that. It was quite a bit of a drop. And anyway, I got convinced to do it, and we dropped down, and there and behold, there was the hotel. Honestly couldn't believe it. So yeah, we eventually got back, and that was a story to tell on its own. Like the whole sort of experience of getting lost in Bangkok on the first night, and then actually getting back, and yeah, the mate had a few answers. Behold, everyone wanted to knock him out, to be honest. And that was that, and it was crazy. And we stayed in Bangkok for like another 2 nights, and got pretty drunk, I think. From what I can remember, and checked out some of the other places, and there's a lot of cool places to actually see in Bangkok. And we went to some big Thai venue, like where actually all the Thais go. They looked at us like gods in there, because they obviously thought we all had money, and a lot of the Thai women are quite, you might hear stories told that, they're quite interested in the white man because they want money, and especially that's where the older men, there's a big sort of a red light district, I guess you could say. Not necessarily in Bangkok, there is a sort of sense, but like Phuket or Pattaya, like the biggest red light districts in the world. And obviously they're there, and it's quite sad really when you hear about a lot of them. They're not working there because they want sex or anything. They're trying to feed their families. There's better money. They get more money, having sex with anyone, older men or whatever. than they would do if they were a nurse or a doctor, unless they're up in some high position. I spoke to one girl when I was out there this year in January, and she was working at the bar with her sister. I think her sister was like 2-3 years older than her. She was a really pretty girl, and spoke really good English. And she used to be a nurse, and she was making, I think she was making 20,000 a month, which is 20,000 baht, which is the equivalent of £400. £400. So she's making that as a month as a nurse, but her mum's fallen really ill, and they don't have. It's not like over here where we got the NHS in England. You could go there and it's all free. You've got to pay for it, so she couldn't afford it. So both her and her sister, so she's packed in this job as a nurse, which is pretty well respected in Thailand for what it is. It could be a lot worse jobs, and she's now having to sell her body to anyone, older men or whatever. And she makes more money doing that, and that's the kind of weird way and sort of how it works. And obviously, a lot of them sort of they want the older man because he's rich, he's got big money and can look after their family. Doesn't necessarily love him, but she would live with him for 10, 20 years, and then until he drops off dead, just so that she can pay for her family. And that's the kind of weird way it works. And then it's also quite weird because they have generally a lot of the Thai girls, the younger girls, end up getting pregnant to a Thai man. A Thai man buggers off. I'm not saying this is the case in every situation, but from every sort of story I've heard, a lot of the bar girls that work there all sort of had a kid, and then, this is one of the other ways, and it's quite depressing, is they've had a kid when they're really young. They now have to support this kid, so the parents look after the child. They then go work as a prostitute, basically, and they sell their body for years on years to pay for their parents and also to pay for their kid. Basically, the way it works in Thailand is that they have children, and the children are meant to look after the parents, whilst over here you'd have a pension, really, and the pension will look after you. Maybe sure you still have children. I'd say look after my mum and dad if they ever come to financial difficulty, but generally with the pension there, they would look after them. So that's one of the things. But that kind of takes me away from my first thing. But it's something, that it's just kind of weird and how that whole system works, and that's just how Thailand is. So yeah, that kind of drove me away from my first thing. So yeah, we then from going from Bangkok, we'd already we'd already booked flights. We booked a bit in advance. Yeah, we'd had booked like the first 2 weeks in advance. Sort of planned out what we wanted to do in some sense, but obviously when you get there, it all kind of changes. But it was nice to have the hotel booked. We had to fly to Krabi from Bangkok at like 5 in the morning, so me and a few lads stayed up the whole night. A few of them went to sleep, and we just stayed up. We got pretty drunk, so that was pretty horrible flying from Bangkok to Krabi. It was like an hour-and-a-half flight. Krabi, there's not really much there. I didn't explore it. We just got there, and then we had to get a coach, and 2-hour coach to the ferry, or the boat, port, harbour. And then we had to get a 2-hour freaking boat, or I think it might be longer than 2 hours, the virtual boat, to Koh Samui. And Koh Samui is my favourite place. I've been there, I think 3 times. The last time I went, I actually flew directly from Bangkok to there. It cost me like £200, so it's a lot more expensive than if you were to fly from Krabi, then get a coach and get a boat. But it's a lot of travelling, if you got, for the sake of a bit of money, which isn't always the case if you're a traveller and you're on a backpacker's budget or whatever. It's a lot easier to fly down there. But anyway, we did this whole thing, and we got to Koh Samui, and we'd actually booked out a villa online for like 5 days. So the chap actually had come down in his Land Rover, picked us all up. We actually sat in the back in a pickup. And that's the cool thing in Thailand. Like, there's no, in some ways it's cool, in some ways it's a bit weird. There's like no health and safety in Thailand. So we were all sat in this back of the pickup truck, just in the open air, just going like 60 miles per hour, just hanging on for our lives. It's pretty, you're not really hanging on, but if it was to flip, you hear a lot of bad stories. Yeah, I won't say any more. But anyway, he took us to his villa, and it was really nice. We had this whole villa just to ourselves, which was super sweet, and it had a pool. The only downside was because, again, when we were newbies, similar to the Bangkok hotel, and unfortunately this one wasn't a brothel, but it was quite far away from whereas Koh Samui was quite a sort of small place, and not where you could get a taxi at the click of the finger, like in Bangkok you could, or you could get a motorbike, just so you can hop on one and they'll take you wherever, cheap and chips. But we were kind of out in the woods, so everyone had to run out a motorbike. I had never drove a motorbike. I can only about hold on to a push bike. But everyone would say, well, it's the same as a push bike, but I didn't feel very comfortable renting out a motorbike. One, for falling off myself, or damaging the bike and having to pay all these fees, because you get bad stories about stuff like that happening. So I decided to rent out a Jeep. Hopefully, if I remember, I have some pictures in all this. And I got this big ass Jeep, me and my buddy rented out, and it was super cool. We were able to sort of drive around and check out Koh Samui and actually go into the town, and it was so cool. It was my favourite place. The beaches there are absolutely amazing. The music. There was one place we went to called can't remember what it was called, but they literally had a dude on the saxophone playing some live sax music. There's people dancing on the beach doing like fire shows, and it was amazing. It was the best time of my life was in Koh Samui. I've been there for like 5 or 6 nights, and another time, again, if I had the picture, I was on the beach on my own because they went up to the waterfalls and the motorbikes, and I decided to chill by the beach, and this dude came up with his monkey. They have like these monkeys, which is kind of bad in some sense. Anyway, we had a picture taken with him for like £2 or whatever, and he took a picture of me, but after doing, I see some, you see at the airport, they say about it, not to do it, and which I sort of afterwards, these monkeys have sort of been taken hostage, I guess, in some sense. They look kind of happy with them, but, they've been taken out of their wild habitat, and then they're being, not treated very nice, probably locked in the cage when they get home, and this guy's basically just taking this pet monkey around, or it's not even his pet, he's taking this wild monkey around to take pictures with people, and he's making all this money whilst this monkey's not being probably looked after a lot, and it happens a lot, and you see it a lot on TV, and they say not to do it, and I was sort of I don't really agree with it anymore. At the time, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I'm chilling here with my monkey. It's my new freaking Facebook picture. Wicked cool, man. But, afterwards, it's not very nice. And then you don't get, it's not very nice life for the monkey, really, when he could just be chilling out in the wild in the banana forest, which they have there. We went and checked out Monkey Island, which was really cool, and there's loads of them there. So yeah, that was really cool. And Koh Samui, the nightlife there was really cool. And it's one place I really recommend checking out. And from Koh Samui, we got another ferry, like 2 hours to Phi Phi, which some of you guys may have heard of. That's the picture behind me is of the Phi Phi Islands. It's a literal, real tiny island. A few years ago, before we went there, I'm not sure when it was, the tsunami hit, and it was what literally wiped out the whole place. A lot of people died, and they've rebuilt it now. And when we went there, I went there again last year, which was 3 years after, but when we went there in 2012, you could really smell it. It was really smelt really bad because all the sewers have been everything had been kind of destroyed. They built it up a lot, but since I went there last year, it's cleaned up and it's a lot more nicer now, and they're building some bigger hotels and more modern ones. But it really got ruined. But it was such a cool place to check out. It was just a tiny little island. The thing we did find when we went there, it was quite like overcrowded. It's all the sort of cool with like travellers backpack place. Everyone's going to Phi Phi, but it's an absolutely amazing place. So the views. There's a place called the View, it's called The View, or maybe something like that. The viewing point. So basically, Jesus Christ, right? The viewpoint is the highest point in Phi Phi, and it's meant to be where if the place is going to get hit by a tsunami, that's where you're meant to go. God knows how it's going to be like a bite to death trying to get up there, because there's literally just one set of steps which goes up this frickin' mountain, like bends around, and there's a lot of steps, and they're steep. Like the steps are sort of like this, and not like little steps. They're like this. So when we first went up there, I was like, again quite a bit of a big guy. And we went up there and got up there with my mates, and it was amazing going up there and viewing it all. But it took like 20 minutes or so to get up there, and sweating my freaking tits off. I went there again last year, and I put on a lot of weight since then. I lost a lot of weight now, but last year when I went, I had put on a lot of weight since I went out in 2012, and Jesus Christ, I thought I was going to heave over trying to get up there. That was what really sort of made me want to lose the weight when I went up there, and I was dying trying to get up these steps. So it was a good thing to do out of tsunami, because I'd probably been the one pushed away. Get out of the way, you bastard. But yeah, amazing going up there. Like I say, I should add some pictures in. You can see it until you actually go there and sort of witness what you can see, and you can see all the islands around it, and it's so cool. They also have an island near Phi Phi called the Beach. I don't know if you've ever seen the film The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio. That was actually filmed around the corner from there. You can get like we actually hired out a boat, like a fisherman's boat. So this Thai bloke drove us around, about 8 of us, and he took us to some of the islands. Took us to Monkey Island, where there's like hundreds of monkeys there. You can kind of feed them, but you want to be careful because they bite you. You probably get rabies and die. As long as you're not doing any. I think we went there. We didn't really like pet any. You don't really want to go near them because you never know, they're wild animals and whatnot. We went jumping off. Big ass like mountain, or not mountains, but like some of the big sort of like in the picture you can see the I don't know what you would call that. It's not really a mountain, a big rock. I guess a bit bigger than a rock, like a cliff, I guess, like 30 foot high. I actually I got convinced in jumping off one, and it was a surreal experience. Actually jumping off there and getting into what was super cool. And one of my mates, he did about 60 foot. I don't know how he did it, but yeah, it was really cool. We went snorkeling. And you can actually see like all the amount of colourful fish, and some of the water, especially at the beach where the film was filmed. I can't remember what the actual. Not sure what happened there. But the beach. like the water was so clear, like it was crystal clear, and the beach was amazing. But the problem was it was just so overcrowded. Like I said, Phi Phi was overcrowded. This was hella overcrowded. You had like all your Chinese tourists. It's obviously they're coming not just from Phi Phi. They're literally going on a trip from maybe Samui all around this bit and a whole day trip, and it was packed. I've never seen anything like it there. It was just so packed, and it kind of ruined the experience a little bit. And that's the problem with these places. They're so small and they're getting so overcrowded because people are hearing about them and wanted to come and check them out and whatnot. But that was a really good experience going to Phi Phi, and then we left Phi Phi. We left a few of our mates there. We kind of split up at this point, and we went to Phuket. Got a boat to Phuket, and I hope I've uploaded the picture. I've never got so sunburnt in my life. I literally was lying on the top of the boat for like 2 hours. I think I was supposed to put some sun cream on, and I was literally red raw as you'll see in the picture. We got red burnt how, but when I actually come back, I didn't peel at all. I had the best tan out of everyone. They were all really jealous. I don't know how I didn't peel, to be honest. I was red raw like a chicken. It was pretty bad. So we went to Phuket, and as I mentioned, that was like it's the third biggest red light district. Is Phuket, and this is the third. Like Bangkok, you see a bit in Bangkok in some streets, but like Phuket, going there, that was the first time we've really experienced the whole sort of. The whole scene like that, like it was just a surreal experience going there, and you're seeing all these girls the way they are, and they're all sort of, it was unreal, just bar after bar after bar after bar. Like one bar we walked into, it was a complex of like 30 bars, so it's like a big mall, I guess. And there's probably about 15 bars this side and 15 bars on the other side. And you walk through the middle, and we walked through the middle. There was 4 of us, and they all ringing their bells and everything. Obviously, wanting us to come to our bar. It was a really quite surreal experience. It made you feel like a footballer, I guess, in some sense. That's what I imagine a footballer would feel like. They all want us to come to our bar, and it was a really nice experience. We went down to the bottom, and you can play a game called Jackpot. They like that Jackpot. Basically, I do actually have it here somewhere. I don't know. It's you basically got 2 dice. Jackpot's written on these like things with 1 to 9, so you basically roll. If you roll a 3, you get the A, and then this first one to hit jackpot, and then you win. Sometimes you do it for a drink, you get a drink, or they have a drink, or whatever. Or they also play Connect 4. That's actually a big game out there. The yellow and the red dots, where you got to connect 4 in a row, up, down, left, or right, or whatever. They're freaking good at it, I was like, come and play me at League of Legends with Sue's boss then. And also, the freaking game where you stack them up, you pulled out the bits of wood, I can't even think what it's called, like a big like wood, really going to annoy me now. And then it tips over when you take out so many. So they love their sort of games like that, which is pretty cool, and it was all good fun. We were there, I think we were there just for the one night, and then we flew back to Bangkok for a couple of nights, and then we went to Pattaya, which is actually the biggest red light district, and that was even more hella crazy. Yeah, it was just so surreal to see something like that, how it is. And it's a really nice place other than the red light district. The problem, I think, with Thailand, it gets like a bit of a bad rep because of that, but there's so much more to Thailand than just that. But you could completely go around Thailand and avoid that, but it's nice to kind of see that experience and just see how the sort of different worlds are going out there. And like I said, like the beaches there are really nice. We chilled on the beach for quite a bit, and then we went to some of the bars and got pretty drunk, and it was good stuff. I think we were there for like 2 days or something, and then Bangkok, and then we had to go home. And that was basically my first experience. Tried to round it up as much as I can. I think I've kind of covered everything I sort of wanted to talk about. Obviously, there's so much more that went on the trip. Actually, one thing we did do whilst we were in Koh Samui, we went to, this was the main story. I'll leave this in my last story. This is probably one way to end it. But when we were in Koh Samui, there's like a little island for about an hour away called Koh Chang. Can't remember what it's called, but anyway, they do a full moon party. So every month they do a party, and then New Year's the biggest one, the biggest full moon party. I mean, it's every month there's a full moon or something. Anyway, so we booked it, and I think we would have actually heard of it, but we saw something about it, and we're like, yeah, we'll get on that. And she was like, do you want VIP speedboat? I mean, like, well, like it was a couple quid more, and we got this VIP speedboat, which I'll talk about the importance of that a bit later. So anyway, we're there freaking getting over, and you go on the speedboat for about an hour through these choppy waters, about 20, and you go freaking up and down on this boat. And we get to this party, and it's something insane. You could buy basically what they sell. You see it quite a lot in Thailand. I don't know if you've seen it in Pattaya much, but in sort of Bangkok you see it quite a bit, and especially around the party islands like Phi Phi. Literally it's a sand bucket, and they fill that up with vodka or in Coke and whatever you want for like about £6, 300 baht they generally are. So you get like a whole set, and they fill it up, and you go around drinking out your sand bucket, getting absolutely fucked up, basically. And yeah, so we went there and we were all there flipping chilling out, and eventually I lost all my mates. So there's about 8 of us, and I lost them all. It was a massive place, and I ended up losing them all quite early on. So I was literally on my own for about 6-7 hours at this freaking party, and I had the best time of my life, to be honest. Like even I was so drunk, I was so drunk. I met this girl there, and I was pretty drunk. I actually smashed, and she was there. I was dancing with her, and we ended up sitting down on the beach. And I sat down with a friend who looked a bit weird, and I remember there, and it didn't really. I was so smashed. I actually had a picture which I deleted because I was quite like I thought it was a bit fucked up. She was there like massaging my arm, and she started saying something about ladyboys. It's like ladyboys boxing or something, ladyboy boxing. At this point, I was like, well, that's a bit weird. And she was massaging my arm quite strong, and I was like, well, this just doesn't feel right at the moment. And it kind of then sort of clicked that she was a ladyboy, and then my whole world come crashing down around me. So I was like, I just need to get a drink, and I've never ran so fast in my life. I only got a drink, and I just ran away. So that was quite an experience, and eventually somehow I ended up bumping into my friends about 4 or 5 in the morning, and it was the last kind of boat you could get back to Koh Samui, and there was a queue of about 200-300 people. I've never seen such a big queue in my life. And we're there, stood there like, oh my god, this is horrible, you know, just hanging, like, we want to go back to our beds now, and so the guy sees us, oh, VIP, VIP, because we had these badges on, and we actually skipped the whole queue. Everyone was, the look on their faces, they were not happy. So if you ever go to the full moon party, get a VIP pass. I went back there again on my own, and because I was sort of chilling in Koh Samui on my own for one time, and I thought I'd want to check it out again. Getting the VIP pass, that's where it's at. I can't recommend it highly enough. Boom. See you later, Q. VIP for the win. So that pretty much sort of wraps up some of, I've probably missed a lot of bits of things, but that was my sort of first experience in Thailand. I know I've rambled on about some other things, but if you guys maybe have an interest of a certain topic you'd like me to pick on, then we can do that. Hopefully this video has been insightful for you bosses to do with Thailand. So it's hard to cover so many things on what happened on my first trip, but that was generally my sort of first experience. A lot more happened, and I can only say really that it was my best experience of my life, and it was the reason when I went out there in 2012 with my group of friends that I went out there to go back on my own, and I've been over there for a total of a year. Last year I was out there for I think 5 months. I lived out there, rented out a villa, rented out a flat, sorry. It was really nice to rent out a villa. Rented out a flat and, lived out there for a while. I've got a lot of friends still living out there teaching English at the moment. And, and then I went out back again there for this New Year, which was really cool. So, if you want me to touch on something maybe like what it is like renting out there or any other kind of experience, and then, we can get on with that. But anyway, I hope bosses have enjoyed. If you'd like to see some more other kind of vlogs, then let me know in the comment section below. If you have enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Anyway, bosses, stay away from those ladyboys. Peace.
Like that. What the fuck? What the fuck? That damage is unreal.